love what they do with the new Bloodlines. Like, for real, this is one of my favorite maps now.
I will say it is pretty nice on the new tiles, a little bit wonky, though I will admit.
True.
It definitely makes me feel like I'm playing on Wreckers, but not on Wreckers at time, I will admit as well. But that being said, we do see scratch marks over by Shaq. Looks like Blight taking a look around, seeing if they want to chase them, and see no one else, it looks like they are.
I was say, it's essentially Wrecker's Yard with an extra main building. That's all it is.
Pretty much.
Love it, and they do find Bill right off the bat, heading into... What do you call this again? The crane? Like... My southern
the
euphemism probably doesn't
excavator,
hold up well
crane. There's a few different words that people use, but we do see a missed skill check there on the gen, moving it back down to 0, and looks like Blight will end up finding Nia here.
That they will. Oh, I'm about to say, when's that pallet gonna drop? There's the pallet drop. They get it like around the side. No adrenaline vial needed here, as that is the double speed add-ons. It's crazy to think that we, like, even with double speed add-ons, this killer's just such an absolute train wreck of a killer.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, Blight used to be joked as one of the worst killers in the game, but as time went on, we see more and more that is not the case, as Nia does go down, trying to bait out the swing through the pallet, but will go down for it instead.
Indeed, first down coming in. Corrupt has ended now with that survivor going down. It's just crazy to me. I agree. I was one of the people that was like, man, Blight's really annoying. They took away Bumper Car Billy and gave us this killer. What the heck? This is so garbage. And then, like, 2 weeks later, people were showing, like, you can do some really busted stuff with this killer. And, like, a month later, like, oh, wow, this is, like, literally the best killer in the game. What are we talking about?
It was interesting, too, with Blight taking as long as it did before people really realized it, but we do see this gen with a ton of progress. However, Pop Ghost Weasel coming on in, regressing that gen by 50% of its current progression, and we do see the unhook as well. Blight going for the rush, seeing if they can get someone here. They do see him on the tile. Bit of a hug tech coming in, but able to get the hit.
I think that might have been a dead hard there, as that was really close. There was no time for that to be BT hit. That was definitely dead hard. So this might be the dead hard decisive play. Oh, but they whiff into it. They get the pallets done. Nia making a whole lot of extra progress here. I imagine we will see that center gen finish here in just a moment. Rushing around the side, they do get the hit. Really good job there, but I think they didn't break this pallet. Decisive's coming in, I think.
Yeah, I think you're right. That makes most sense as first gen popping off, but no decisive strike. Nia being put on the hook for the second time here. One hook away from being sent past the campfire via the entity. Looks like we're going into the basement this time around. It
does seem to be the case, as this gen does have a lot more progress this time. Imagine we'll be seeing Pop Goes the Weasel on it. It's crazy. I think Pop got the center gen probably for 29% total progress, as it looked 99 and ready to go. And now looking around the edge of the map, seeing if the survivor is stealthing out over here. No signs of life just yet. And yeah, I'm surprised there was no decisive. Maybe there was no way there was 10 seconds left on BT. There was no way there was a BT hit, right?
I mean, it's not so the wrong possibility. It's always hard to say nowadays between BT and Dead Hard unless you see the Dead Hard animation itself.
Right.
That being said, looks like Blight can tend to kind of set up this hook here for another 30 seconds, potentially forcing the death hook. And looks like no other gen's currently being worked on in the immediate area.
I'm about to say, it makes sense. You have a really good setup here. You force the death, you force the 3v1. 2 other gens can pop here. We see the second gen popping off. I might see a third one. But you've got 2 gens. This center one's regressing with Pop Goes the Weasel already applied to it. And you can see both these gens in the vicinity. You've got a good 3 gen here. Why would you leave this? This is a fantastic setup for the Blight.
Yeah, that's a fair point. That being said, Blight off the races now, as we do see Nia being sent back to campfire via the entity progressing to death, and looks like Blight gonna be going for the bill here and will potentially get the hit.
This is some really good pathing from the Blight here. Daimo doing a wonderful job deciding, like, okay, wait the perfect time, get the bounce, get the rush, get around the corner, don't go for any cheesy flicks, don't force anything, just let the bounces do their job. And Bill will go down here. Curious to see if they're going to be able to get a third generator done, as I think Bill had the most progressed gen. We'll just have to see where the Claudette and Ace are. Or do you think they move in, take this time? No, they finished another gen, so they were about to be at the 3 gen, 4 gens done scenario. Do you make this with Agi? They finished the other gen too.
It's going to be aggressive, but these survivors not going down without a fight. 4 gens in. However, I don't think there's any other gens of any progress here to speak of.
Oh yeah, absolutely. The rest of it's the 3 gens left over, and actually that's a really good heads up play from the survivors. You know this is going to come with a Pop Goes the Weasel. And Ace does get the unhook here. I imagine we might see Ace with the deli play. There's the BT hit. I think we're going to see the tunnel out here potentially. No, they're going to go for the Ace to spread the pressure. There's the bounce around the side. That's an easy flick for the Blight, trying to mind game and double back, but the Blight hits it regardless. Recharging the 3 charges left. Dropping this pallet. I don't know if Ace is going to be able to get out of sight. I'm surprised they go for the Ace here, as I think they have deli. Do they just not care?
Possibly just do not care at this point in time. Once again, Blight just with some really good movement here, and I think they're gonna actually slug them out, which makes a lot of sense here. All 3 survivors injured, 1 gen remaining. You have some time here, and we see the Shack gen pop off, and looks like you're gonna be going for Claudette here.
Oh my goodness, that was so filthy. Good tech though by the Claudette, forcing the break on the pallet with the vacuum. That was a beautiful job, though. And looks like Bill did heal. Did Bill have a med kit, or is that an inner healing potentially?
That's really hard to say. I think it may have been inner healing based on the timing, though it is always difficult when you're not watching the survivor in that moment. Either ways, though, Claudia going to be going down into the basement, it looks like. I mean, right now we're looking at, what, a 2-1 split, or is this still the 3-gen?
It's still the 3-gen. It's absolutely the 3-gen. There was the same one that Nancy had when they were dying in the basement. Or either that, okay, now that I'm thinking about it, Ace got a quick pickup. It might have been Unbreakable 99, get the pickup from Bill, and then try and reset Bill, let Ace stay injured since they don't care about getting downed and hooked. They want to take chase. That might have been the scenario there, actually.
That is a very real possibility. That being said, we do find Bill once again, this time at the excavator. Blake going for a really good rush here, and the hit at the locker. Bill just unable to get in at the right time.
Yeah, really close attempt there, and they will go down at this pallet. No, they have the dead hard. That was a BT hit earlier on Nancy.
Must have been at the last second. Yeah,
that was absolutely last second BT then. Crazy stuff from the survivors here. And now with Survivor progressing to second stage, probably in the next 20 seconds, what are they doing on these gens? What is the plan here? Are they giving up the 3-gen? Are they saying, fine, we'll go to, you know, Exegate scenario? Again, who is it? Bill's been hooked, I believe. Ace hasn't, so if you try to hide Ace and try and get some kind of fresh out there, that's not the horrible idea.
Yeah, it's not the worst idea, but you do find Bill once again out of nowhere. Do you want to note that Bill did, in fact, have that med kit in hand? So very likely that they used it earlier, though potentially a balanced landing here. Yeah, looks like it, but not fast enough, even without the stun. And even with the additional speed, Bill is unable to get anywhere.
So, fun fact, no balance landing, because that was dead hard. They were trying to do that hill tech where you leave off a hill, but you get the fast vault prompt.
Yeah, you're right. I completely forgot about that. It looked just so smooth. Like, oh yeah, that has to be balance landing, right?
Yeah, it was beautiful. It was a good tech, but unfortunately not able to get it. And now with both these servers slugged, pretty sure that Ace has the Unbreakable, as they were probably the Deli Unbreakable players. They were prioritizing unhooks. We saw scratch marks going back here. Ace is injured, and yeah, I think we see them. There is still potential reset. Oh, getting stuck on the wall there.
Not exactly stuck. I think they accidentally did a reverse moonwalk. Or rather, a reverse rush, so a moonwalk rush. Which I don't think I've seen since Lilith Omen was in COTF.
Honestly, fair. And really good job there from the Ace, forcing the slide off, but they will go down here. No pallet tech or vacuum going on. And, well, do you go and find the 2 slugs you have, hook them, and then wait last second to hook the Ace so that they don't get deli? Like, I don't know what the scenario is, but I think this is going to be 4K1, unless something crazy happens.
Yeah, that would make the most sense. But Blight now taking kind of a risk here, both for the fact that Ace might have Unbreakable, but also because they might not find any of the survivors. I mean, there's 3 survivors on the ground. The map is not huge, but it's not small either. And
True.
It looks like they have found the Bill at the very least.
Indeed. So this will be second hook coming in for the Bill. Wherever Claudette is, even if she bleeds out, honestly, you can let Claudette bleed. She's been hooked twice. Yes. Her points would be the same no matter what, if she bled out or if she went on hook. I think the only difference being is that you get her out of the game faster so you can hook the Ace without having to worry about deli.
Yeah, that would be the idea here. That being said, they need to be careful because obviously Bill can give up on hook at any point in time.
Yep. There we go.
Ace end point there. And you need to be wary of where Ace is. And if they do have Unbreakable, it could have been Bill earlier, yes, but it also very well could be the Ace.
There's a survivor on the hatch right now. What's going on? Why would you put Claudette on the hatch?
Yeah, it's interesting. Claudia just kind of hanging out here. We said Ace has, does Ace have the Dead Heart?
No, Bill has the Dead Heart. Ace has a.
Okay.
I think and if Bill healed themselves with the med kit, Ace unbreakable most likely. I don't think they would have gone and picked up Ace otherwise. It's weird. Do we see a unbreakable at the last second to get adrenaline? I don't know. No adrenaline. However, that's less than a minute and a half on the bleed out timer. If Ace bleeds out, that's 3 points lost.
Yeah, that's not insignificant. Do want to point out, though, that the Survivors did not get the 5th generator here.
Right.
So that will basically give them the 5th gen
Plus a stage.
a escape, as if it were a 3K11.
Exactly, yeah. The point differences would be the case, which would be really good for Infinity's Survivor team, as that is a... No, I'm sorry, Ascetic's Killer. Yeah, Ascetic's Killer has a much easier time thing, because all they need to do is 4K one, even 4K, like, 5 gens done. Like, where's the Survivor? We're coming up on a minute here, and we haven't heard them at all. And I thought, especially with Blight being able to rush around, you would hear them.
Yeah, it's going to be a close one to say the least. Definitely going to come down to the wire. We'll be able to take a look and see where Bill is in just a few moments, as we should be reaching into that 1 minute mark.
Let us say, give it a couple more seconds, and yeah, we're going to switch over here.
Yeah, no sign of them, not even a whisper.
They're in a quarter? They are in a quarter. We don't even know what quarter. The Ace is like, what's up, guys? It's your friendly Ace
honestly,
here.
you would not be able to tell. But yeah, it looks like they do have the Unbreakable.
And, yeah, but they've already used it. So...
Yeah.
Interesting. And we don't hear Terror Radius.
Oh, speak of the devil, and he shall appear.
There's no way they find him in time, right?
You hear the rush?
No, they walked away.
Whoa.
But they're coming back.
Maybe? No, they walked past.
This is going to be a bleed out.
Yes, it is. And so that is basically going to be the equivalent of a 3K
3K11, yeah.
11 hook here for Infinity's Blight. At the end of the day, as long as they get a 4K at 5 gens completed, that should result in a win here for Ascetic. We'll have to wait and see what comes of that. But that being said, Blight is off to the races, trying to find a survivor off the bat.
True. And you know what? I will say, as more and more teams come into COTF and show what they're made of, I might have to eat my words and give me future like, oh, 4K1 standard on this killer, 4K1 standard on this killer. We've seen a lot of upsets where there's even 5 gens done against these S tiers, and there's stages leaving the game. And it's just because the caliber of survivors coming in at this point are just that good. Oh my goodness, Ace, you are out of position, my dude, and you're lucky that Blight didn't bump.
Yeah, I think Ace kind of resting on their laurels there with that sprint burst in hand, but only 1 token used, meaning that Blight can follow up thereafter and gets the tag on him as well.
Indeed, early, not as early a chase, about a minute into Corrupt here, and they are going to pre-drop the pallet. I'm looking at the 3-gen that's corrupted. It's very similar to what we saw in last game.
Yeah, very similar indeed, and Ace going down near the pallet, but not underneath enough where I think someone can come in for the pallet stun, and looks like Blight will get the first hook here.
Indeed, looks like a little bit of speedy agitation as they make their way towards the center of the map. That center gen is firing away. They definitely know, yeah, you gotta finish that center gen, and they do. So first gen down for these survivors, no ability to contest it. And I will say survivors already have a good start against this killer.
Yeah, honestly, really solid start, really solid first gen. It's possible that the Blight might not be able to find where they went either, as they're trying to look around and identify where those spires went thereafter. But it looks like they might just be content hanging around with the Ace here.
It makes the most sense. You saw the gen in the middle being broken by 2 survivors. You don't really know what other gen's working on. You might as well, you know, for a second stage. They wanted to hook center. You know they wanted to hook center so they could pop that gen, but it just didn't work out in their favor. And so now, what else do you have? Yeah, second gen coming down, but you know that a 3rd gen, you might be able to contest a 3rd gen here by the time the second stage occurs.
Yeah, that is a fair point. We'll have to wait and see what comes of this. I think situations like these are going to change dramatically with the upcoming update, so it's going to be really interesting to see if survivors are going to become more and more aggressive on these unhooks in the future and force more 1-for-1 trades.
Yeah, okay, so, like, I get it for the sake of Cubs, But I personally like that it's a bit more difficult and strategic to get unhooks like this against the killer. But I understand from a public's perspective not wanting to let that occur. But it's going to do some numbers on how competitive balance for it, because it's going to... Gens are just going to fly a lot faster. Even these S tiers are going to struggle a bit.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see how it turns out, but Ace will end up going down.
Tunnel target.
Potentially their third hook, unless there's a decisive strike.
No decisive strike. Firework not working, and that is a very colorful hook for Ace to be sent back to the campfire on.
Indeed, indeed. And that'll create a 3-1 scenario. Jen's over here almost complete. Claudette trying to force the slide, and looks like just unable to make it work, as Blight will pop that Gen, regressing by 30% of its current progression, which is quite significant.
Quite significant indeed. And waiting a bit too long to jump into that locker, and that's going to cost him first hook coming in for Claudette. And it's looking like Blight... Last time the survivors had 3 gens at this point. Almost, actually, no, they had 4 gens done by this point.
Yeah, things are looking a bit rough here for the survivors, to say the least, especially as they are able to get that hook here right next to Jack. Another pop on the Gen as well. And looks like they are going to see a unhook, a potential 1-for-1 trade here from the Rebecca.
It would seem to be the case, and they are going to stick to the Rebecca here. They do have a good palette. 3rd gen coming down, so Shack Gen was not the only one being worked on, to the survivor's credit, but with 2 pops applying to it, it's just... Do you think it was a missed call out, maybe? It's like saying, hey, this killer has popped, don't work on that Gen until we, deal with something, but I don't know.
Well, it's very possible that they may have not realized it, because Noah's able to see the Gen, so they called out the progression of it, but didn't realize until they had already touched it.
That's a fair point. At this point, like, this is a very standard build for Blights and Codef at this moment. Like, brutal strength, you want to get through pallets faster, pop. It's one of the only regressions we allow at this point, because you ain't getting pain res, buddy. Your chase is end far too quickly to give you that.
Yeah, to say the least. That being said, Blight looking around, trying to find where these survivors are. We do see the unhook, and we'll imagine that it is the Renato who went for the unhook, but Blight going pretty far out, seeing what the Gen these survivors are working on.
You know, it makes sense. You haven't seen this back gen. You do know, yeah, scratch marks on this generator, so survivors were working on it. This is a slightly more spread 3 gen than previously. I will say that.
Yeah, it is a bit more of a 2-2 split right now. That's going to result in a 2-1 split if survivors are able to break in. Though Claudette going to be going for a short chase here, as Blight will be able to catch up pretty quickly.
Yeah, not able to get much distance. Oh, but waiting out the dead hard. It's not going to end up working. That'll be second hook for Claudette coming in. We'll have to see. I think if you could bang out Shack together as a 2-man, that is your best case scenario. And Blight heading right back to it with agitation, not losing a lot of distance here. What's the Shack Gen look like? Not a lot of progress compared to last time. It's not even the most progress it's been this game. They're trying to break it, but Blast Mine.
And survivors using that time to good use, getting that unhook there during the stun and blind, so smart play there. I do love seeing Blast Mine used in that way, specifically. You do see Renato here trying to evade the Blight, and they will successfully do so around the rock. Yeah,
barely getting out of sight, and they are the only uninjured survivor. Yeah, Blight doesn't want to take this chase. They want to see what this gen looks like. And yeah, getting the call at Rebecca, looking for it. This is Long Wall, I think. Was that a quick and quiet? Oh my goodness, this gen's almost done.
Yeah, really well played here by the survivors. This gen almost being completed could potentially secure them the victory if they're able to do this and one other. We see Rebecca here in the locker. Blight just holding it out as long as possible, and looks like they will end up going down.
Oh, but they touched the gen. That's going to let the Blight pop it.
Yeah, that was an interesting choice and potentially a huge misplay. We are going to see the pop now.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if maybe they thought they could, like, complete it underneath the Blight's nose or what.
It must have been truly 99 if they thought they could get away with it. And yeah, that might cost them the game. I'm not going to lie. I don't like to put it out to one decision, but not having that gen ready to pop where another survivor could go over there and, finish the gen, pick you off the hook, it's going to be kind of difficult. And we haven't seen Deliverance yet, right? Renato hasn't been hooked, but Deliverance hasn't occurred either.
That is correct, but both Claudette and Rebecca are primed and ready to be sent back to Campfire via that entity on their next hook and or the next 30 seconds for Rebecca. So, I mean, if Renato has Deli, they need to get hooked soon.
True. I think Renato is currently at Shack Gen trying to finish it. Again, if you can finish one, you can start looking at maybe some kind of end game scenario. But wait, hold on. Look at these. Yeah, they do finish the Shack generator, so 4 gens down. But look at these exit gates. They're right. One's right next to where Hatch is going to spawn, and the other one's just a hop, skip away. Like, there's no exit game here. You have to finish a 5th gen and get someone out. You have to.
It is looking like it. So Claudette's going to be in the chase of her lifetime. And Blake will need to be careful not to get too tunnel vision, lest Renato does jump on this gen.
Honestly, I don't think Renato jumps on this gen. I think they go for a separate one. They know that there's progress on it, but I think, again, you also know the Blight knows that. Actually, where has Renato gone since that? You know they popped the gen a little bit ago. Yeah, they're not on this generator. I think they're, again, it's a gen split, so unless you find someone... Actually, we've seen scenarios like this before, where a Blight has a split generator setup, survivors are both healthy, and they're able to finish a 5th gen because survivors just call it like, hey, they're leaving me. You pre-run, you get as far away as possible, and you're safe. They're working on the back 2 gens, it seems like.
It would seem that way. At the very least, Claudette here, still no sign of the Renato. Charges still coming up for the Blight here. Claudette looking maybe for a balanced landing.
Would seem to be the case. There's the drop. I don't know if that was enough drop to get a bounce. Wait, no, she has Dead Hard.
Oh yeah, I think you're right. Also, imagine if they hadn't touched the gen back here, how much more scared the Blight would be to leave this gen for any extended period of time.
True, but if you touch the gen, Renato wouldn't have been able to get out of the way as the Blight had, had that area on lockdown. Claudette got pushed towards mid. That would be pretty nasty, though, if they had just been able to tap it once. And Claudette, luckily, doesn't have charges in the pocket yet for this chase, but with this, now they do. There's the brutal strength, and I don't know what the Claudette can do but die here.
Yeah, I'm thinking you're right. I mean, she is as far away from the hatch as possible. There's the Dead Hard, but the Blight waiting out masterfully so. And yeah, Blight not wanting to risk the escape via the hatch will go back and hunt down the Renato.
I guess the alternative scenario, if Renato... Oh, I know what's up now. Renato's going to hide until Claudette's ready to die. But yeah, you just hook the survivor and you end it. Like, she dies, but you rush back over.
Yeah, the alternative solution is if they were to wait for the absolute...
Last second bleed out, yeah.
Last second, and force the potential bleed out at Ash, the standoff there. So that is the option, but with agitation, they're just able to drag the Claudette back to Shack. And yeah, I'm not sure how Renato's gonna be able to escape this.
I don't think you do. There's not much left. Again, it's even right here. It's even right here.
I wonder if, like, maybe you just hide around the corner, you wait for Blight to close, Blight's gonna rush, you just pray to the entity that you're able to get to the other exit gate.
Maybe. Like, I guess
he's
you
gonna rush.
exit.
Imagine if Renato's right behind the Blight right now.
They're thinking that exact same thing. But I say,
that'd been the only thing I could think of that maybe the Renato would be able to escape by doing.
It just depends. Oh, yeah, they did, but they were just trying to exit gate tech. Not quick enough. I would say maybe if you exit gate tech, you get a little bit. Blight rushes back again, but yeah, it looks like we're going to be seeing the 4K here. There's the balanced landing on Renato. I'm also wondering, do you think that maybe Ace had the Deli Unbreakable?
That'd be really unfortunate if that was the case.
Indeed, but yeah, it looks like we're going to be seeing the end here. 4K1 in favor of Ascetic's killer, and honestly, really, really well played to both these teams. They had a good shot. The survivors did a good job, but I'm honestly looking back at that. I don't want to put it all in one decision, but tapping the gen next to the hook. I don't know what the survivors' mindset was. Like, maybe it was truly 99. They might have been able to finish it, but not having that gen ability to be completed, that might have cost them the game.
I would tend to agree, and with that being said, 3 points in favor of Ascetic, and GG, well played to both teams, but congratulations to Ascetic as they are going to be getting an invite for Season 8.